Assalamualaikum and hello, Sabrina here. Today we will go through a topic called sensory integrative development and childhood occupations. Before I start, let me ask you a question. When is the critical period for development of sensory integration? And of course, the answer is on the screen, which is the first 7 years of life. Bingo! Congratulations to those who got it right. Okay, so during the first 7 years of life, parents should expose their children to a lot of environment that are enriched with sensory, so that the sensory integration, the sensory part will build up well. There are 5 stages in total. So the first one is prenatal period, neonatal period, first 6 months, second 6 months, and lastly is second year. So all these stages I will go through in details during the upcoming slides. Let us start with prenatal period. So prenatal period is when the baby is in the womb. So at the age of 5.5 weeks after conception, what you will see is that they will show more response to tactile stimuli, mainly on perioral area. So perioral area is actually the area around the mouth. So if there's like a stimuli like lights, flash at the mouth, it tends to like move their head away from the stimuli. So at the age of 9 weeks, what you'll see is that fetus will tend to move their head to chest, and then they will show more response to vestibular input. So example is the motor reflex. So for motor reflex, what you will see is that the sudden open arm when the baby feel like there's no support, mainly at the back, there's no support at the baby. So it tends to move their hands upwards. There are also other reflexes, include rooting. So rooting will help with latching later on. Uh, it will do like a sucking motion on their mouth. So uh, it will help later for latching on water bottle or breast when they born later on. And then we have sucking, and then we have babkin as well. So babkin, if there's a pressure on the baby's arm, it tends to open their mouth and then bend their head forward or sideways. And then we have grabs. So grabs technically like if there's something on the baby's palm, it tends to curve their fingers around that thing. So for flexor withdrawal, if there's any stimuli on the feet, it tends to kick their neck up as avoidance as well. So for Galen, if there's any stimuli at the back at the spine area, it will tend baby will tend to flex towards the stimulated side. And then lastly, we have neck writing. So neck writing, when the baby move the head either left or right, the body will tend to follow towards the same direction as well. Neonatal period is the period after birth. So if prenatal focus more on tactile, for neonatal it focus more, to stimuli, to sensation, it focus more on touch, smell, and movement sensations. During this period as well, baby will start to create attachment with caregiver. So knowing the parent's smell, the parent's body, the parent's body parts. So this is where things like that started emerging. So in terms of sensory integration, what you can see is that there's proprioception, but it's not really body awareness the baby, but more like the baby molds their body to caregiver's body. So they become alert towards parents, for example, if parents' hand, parents' face, something like that. Around this time, the baby also start to create body scheme. So although they tend to mold their body to caregiver's body, they also start to have that awareness of their own body parts, etc. Around this time, vestibule will be fully functioning. So usually you will see in baby, lifting up baby and then rocking them is not something threatening for them. It's actually calming. So this proves that vestibular is working well around this time. And then there's also emergence of eye contact. You tend to see that babies start to look around and focus more on your face. And there's interest in face, voice, especially high contrast visual. So, for instance, like a black and white picture or red colored picture. So that tends to catch their attention more compared to like low contrast visual. So of course, baby have low self-regulation, and that's why when it's too hot, too noisy, too anything, they tends to cry. So it shows that are their self-regulation is still not yet matured. Entering the first 6 months, so the baby sensory systems will start to mature. So, for example, like visual or auditory, olfactory will gradually start to get matured, and then they will develop vestibular proprioceptive visual connection. So, they will start to connect like the ability to balance, and then their balancing their body awareness, and then try to link with things that they are looking at the time. Around this time, baby will start to have more postural control. So you'll see the baby tend to fight gravity, like try to sit down, and then more stable position. You'll see even when sitting down. And like I said, baby can sit independently if we stabilize the hand on the ground. So they can initiate, but we still need to keep an eye on them in case because they still have that tendency to fall down. So at this age, there will be better head control and more stable control eye muscles. And instead of reflex, there will be more goal-directed actions. So maybe like if they try to reach object nearby or try to hit object, as some of the examples of goal-directed actions. So from there, you will see there's early motor planning, and then they will have that awareness to initiate crossing midline as well. But not, I won't say fully, but there's a start of crossing midline. And finally, the at this age, they'll be showing better somatosensory, like grasping objects, and then as well as visual and touch. So you'll see like they try to tap or bang object. Approaching the age of one, you'll see baby more mobile. So you see baby walking here, crawling here and there. This is when you really need to see, I mean, keep an eye on them because they can be moving in a flash and then they tend to be more exposed to danger. So just be aware of their location, etc. So at this age, you baby will tend to relate their body more to environment. So for example, like if there's an object in front of them, they tend maybe to either to grab or try to avoid the object, and then they try to squeeze in an area. So they be more aware to environment, and they will be more they will have refined hand skills. So at this age they will use fine pincer grabs. So fine pincer grabs is when baby use the first two fingers, the thumb and the pointy finger, to pick up an object or just to squeeze, move the object, things like that. So around this time, they will be able to cross midline better with object because they have more awareness of two sides of the body, and they have better motor planning because you see more actions, sometimes more than one action at one time. So that part will be more advanced, and then the auditory will be more significant. They will tend to try to vocalize. So you will see they tend to do like consonant vowel repetition, like baba, dada, kaka, something like that. And then at the age of one, usually they start to use more vocabs or like sounds. So for example, like they will say at, but actually they want to say cat. So it sounded like that thing, but it's not clear yet. And they will start to self-feeding. Usually not with fork or spoon. Usually they will use hand. So because they like the texture on the hand, and it will get messy. Second year of life, you'll see everything getting advanced. So you see they have dynamic posture control, so maybe standing up, squatting, running will not be an issue because they have a very good posture control. Of course, better body scheme, awareness of their own body, and motor planning, as well as fine motor will become more advanced. Doing any things, fine motor, gross motor will not be an issue for them. And then they will have ideation, symbolic functioning started to emerge. So ideation, symbolic functioning, for instance, like to have an idea in your head or to imagine something. Imagine you're doing something that you never did before. They start to have that around this age. And of course, they have self-concept started to emerge. Means that they know that they are living in the world and they are actively participating in the world. They have that awareness. And they have several pretend actions. So usually you'll see this during pretend play with friends. So maybe like playing cooking or acting like a policeman, etc. And they have better visual motor, so you will see a lot of involvement in craft and arts because they start becoming more creative and then they see visual motor like in terms of like the details, the patterns, things like that. So exploring playground equipment, exploring tools will not be an issue because they will tend to have that interest with it, like playing around scissors or I don't know, climbing equipment, things like that. And around this age, they will have better timing and sequencing. So you see, they will more likely involve in sports and music. Um, because for example like football, like you need to know when to stop, to dribble the ball, to pass the ball, to kick the ball into goal. So all of this need very good motor planning, especially the timing part and sequencing. It's time to say goodbye. So thank you for listening to my presentation until the end. And if you need more information, please go to Occupational Therapy for Children book, which is written by K. Smith O'Brien. Thank you.